Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel guys. It's your boy Sly Lancy, and today we'll be covering some more Sly Cooper content. We are back at it again with Sly, and for today's video, there's a topic that was suggested to me by Nick's Jen. So thank you for the suggestion, brother. You're always welcome to give suggestions. Same thing with everybody else in my YouTube comment section. Your guys are always free to give suggestions because they always help the channel out and help the channel grow immensely. So anyway, back on topic here, let's get to it. The Sly Cooper Ancestors, and we're doing the top 10 best plus some honorable mentions. Now if I'm being honest here, I don't think I'm gonna do a worst Sly Cooper Ancestors because I really don't think there's any bad Sly Cooper Ancestors, just less than favorable ones. But yeah, we're just going to do a top 10 best, and some of these entries may shock you guys, some of these entries may not shock you guys, so I hope you guys enjoy the video, and hope you guys, feel free to put your opinions in the comment section because they're always greatly appreciated. So, aside from that, let's get to it. Number 10, Bob Cooper. Alright, so we're starting off this list with a very controversial pick, because I already know how people feel about Bob Cooper. Now, I understand that Bob Cooper is not the most favorable Sly Cooper ancestor, but the reason I put him at number 10 on this list is strictly because he's the, I would say, even though we all would have rather preferred, Slytunkhamen be the first Sly Cooper ancestor, we can't deny the importance of Bob Cooper either. So, Bob Cooper is technically the first ancestor, whether some of us want to admit it or not. But yeah, so yeah, Bob Cooper gets 10 just for that particular reason, and also another reason, and that's because we got to know him a little bit more than we did some of the other Coopers throughout history. And I know that's unfair to some other Coopers like Slytunkhamen II or Salim Cooper, but yeah, this is the main reason why I put Bob Cooper at 10. I know it's gonna be a controversial pick, so comments as you will. Number 9, Ovon Cooper. Ovon's importance definitely springs from Sly 3, when Sly was doing the biplane missions, and with Bentley Murray helping him build the biplane and Sly learning how to, fly a plane. Ovon's section of the Thaddius Raccoonist plays a huge part in what Sly is able to accomplish during the biplane section, or I should say, Holland's entire area. Even though we all know that Sly is not a mechanic the way Ovon is, his ability to still learn on the fly that quickly is still, great. Especially when you have someone like Bentley who's teaching you everything you need to know. But anyway, back to Ovon. Ovon's importance to the Thaddius Raccoonist cannot be stated enough. He's definitely one of the smartest Coopers in history, being able to build a biplane himself and then learn how to fly it himself. The developers definitely got him, or created him, based off the Wright brothers. And even his time area basically represents that as well. Number 8, Harrietta One-Eye Cooper. Harrietta is very underrated, I feel, and I feel like she definitely could appear in another Sly Cooper game or Sly Cooper comic or something in the future. And this is what my personal opinion of Harrietta is. As you guys know, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the pirate section in Sly 3, I do understand why the concept would have worked, and Harrietta was a prime example of that. We get 2 cameos from Harrietta One-Eye Cooper that I can remember throughout history. The first one being in Sly 3, where Sly, if he goes up to the Harrietta section of the Cooper Vault, he literally says, "Guess I really take up after her because of the pirate operation that they did in the previous chapter." Next time we hear about Harrietta One-Eye Cooper is in Sly 4, during the Saudi Arabia area, where Sly wants to steal all the coins in the area, but Bentley says he can't because it may prevent himself from becoming a thief. Plus, it would wake up the guards in the area too. So, again, Harrietta, I feel, could definitely show up in the future, and I would love to see her show up too, because I think it'd be nice to have a female Cooper ancestor to, talk about in the future. And considering out of all the female ancestors that Sly has, she's probably the most prominent and most important one from what I've seen. I think that it would be really cool to have her in a future game or future comic. Number 7, Thaddius Winslow Cooper III. If I'm being honest, if it wasn't for Tennessee Kid, Thaddius would low-key be my favorite Sly Cooper ancestor. Like, he has the wit, the charm, and the courage to get through any situation. And in his description of the Devious Raccoon, or his section I should say, they put underneath Master of Disguise, which means he was a brilliant expertise in swaying people with his suave, his charm, and his looks, and it's very obvious where Sly gets that from. Especially if you watch the animated short called Goodbye My Sweet, Part 1 and Part 2, Sly reads Thaddius Cooper's section of the Devious Raccoonist, where he talks about how to sway people with charm and good looks, and having cunning and a devious way of going about it. And plus, his style of clothing makes me think that he's like almost like the Victorian era of Sly Cooper in a way. And let me just say that I really love that about him, and I love the suit that he's wearing and the eyeglass. It really gives him that gentleman's thief vibe, something that really stuck with Sly ever since he was born and grew up throughout his history. And you could even definitely say you see it in Sly during some of the missions. Like, I know for me personally, you guys already know how much I talked about Steal a Tux / Dominate the Dance Floor from Sly 2, Guard Duty from Sly 3. It's literally sprinkled throughout Sly's entire history, and this proves how important Thaddius is to the Sly Cooper ancestry. Thaddius, if I was doing a personal favorite list for ancestors, could have easily gotten top 3 for me. But he's not the greatest Cooper because there's other Coopers who have a bit more importance and relevance in the Cooper ancestry. Number 6. Salim Al-Kupar. Part of me really wanted to put Salim lower on this list because of how he's portrayed in Sly 4, but given how much he's accomplished during the 40 Thieves era, I cannot put him lower than 6 on this list. Salim definitely came off very grouchy and he just wants to retire in Sly 4, which is why I had like a bad impression of him the first time, but I can understand why he wants to be near retirement given how much this man's accomplished in his history. He helped create the 40 Thieves gang while also having the reputation of being just as stealthy as 40 Thieves combined. He also has the climbing cobra technique, which allows him to climb ropes and poles very quickly to evade attack. He also has his old thief outfit, which he allows Sly to wear, which also allows him to slow down time. Bruh. What? And also, as a paraglider, Salim has a magic carpet that he uses to fly around, the same way Sly has his paraglider, which is actually a very cool and detailed thing that they put in there. Given the reference to the Alibaba and the 40 Thieves folktale, along with the fact that Salim accomplished a lot during his early years, Salim could have definitely got much higher on this list. But the fact that we meet him when he's near retirement makes me annoyed so much that I actually wanted to put him very lower on this list. But again, he does enough to help the Cooper gang accomplish what they were trying to accomplish in Sly 4, and plus his reputation and what he accomplished still puts him in the number 6 spot on the list. Number 5. Sir Galleth Cooper. Easily the most headstrong and most hard-headed Cooper of the entire ancestry. It's not even close. And while I could definitely say that Sly gets his fearlessness from Sir Galleth, I would definitely say that Sly is nowhere near as headstrong as Sir Galleth is. Only thing that I could say is that in Sly 4, Sly does act a bit more unlike himself character-wise in that game, but in all the other games, Sly's not that, he's not that headstrong the way Sir Galleth is. But anyway, I'm rambling on here. Sir Galleth, I'll give him credit, he's a very fearless dude, which you could definitely say is what comes from his time period. Dude is a medieval England knight who's brave and honorable, but he's also a cunning thief on the side as well, so you can understand why he has to be fearless and why he wants to go into battle all the time. But unfortunately for him, it was because of that's what got him captured by the Black Knight, aka Penelope, when we saw him in Sly 4. So that's one of the main reasons why he doesn't rank too high on this list, but not too low either. He definitely has an importance to the history, albeit not the biggest part of history, because it seems like his arrogance and his mouth is what portrays him as good as he claims he is. As I stated in my Waluigi video, how like the person that talks the most trash sometimes can't back it up the most. That's definitely Sir Galleth here. but he makes number 5 because he's fearless and he's good-hearted. Plus, his wallhook climb still remains an essential central part of Sly's entire arsenal. Number 4. Rioichi Cooper, the master of the ninja spiral jump, one of the greatest thief moves in Cooper history. So Rioichi is without a doubt a top 5 Sly Cooper ancestor in this entire list. Between his known ability to make sushi, while his ability to be a thief at night, and also again, like I said, the ninja spiral jump still remains a very, very effective Sly Cooper move to this very day. It's no wonder that Rioichi gets so much love by a lot of Sly Cooper fans. We see Rioichi throughout the entire history of Sly. In the Sly 1 we see him, especially when we get his section of the Thaddius Raccoonus back, which talks about the ninja spiral jump. We don't see him in Sly 2, but he is like seen in the cutscene, in the Shadow of the Past cutscene. Sly 3, he's mentioned when Sly checks out the Ancestors Vault, and Sly 4, he's the very, very first ancestor we have to go save. So again, Rioichi has a huge, huge part in Sly's history, and he's number 4 in this list just because of how important he is to Sly altogether. And I will say this, out of all the Cooper ancestors, he seems to be the most disciplined out of all of them. Never letting anyone or anything, get to him, and always having great knowledge and wisdom. Even though he can be a bit arrogant at times, it's not overly arrogant the way that someone like Sir Galleth would be. Another thing I want to throw in here is that he's the creator of sushi. Yo, this man created sushi. That is beyond amazing, okay? And as a huge sushi fan myself, that just adds more to why I love him. Now, Rioichi could have easily gotten top 3, but there's 3 other ancestors that just edged him out, just a bit. Rioichi could have easily gotten top 3, but we see how important he is to the entire franchise of Sly, so there's that. Number 3. Connor Cooper. Yep, Sly's dad makes number 3 on this list. But why is Sly's dad this high on this list when we barely even seen him and all we heard was just stories about him? I'ma just say this. Connor Cooper is the reason why we have Sly Cooper. Without Connor Cooper, Sly doesn't exist, and he did enough for Sly to get him started in his career path. Between pulling off some of the most legendary heists in the world, like the big diamond that apparently the Paradox's father was gonna steal. Also, on top of that, working with McSweeney and Dr. M to pull off different heists as well. Sacrificing himself to save Sly before it was too late. Like, Connor Cooper definitely left his mark in the history. Now, number 3 on this list may seem a bit too high for him, given we don't know him completely yet, and from the stories that we heard from Dr. M, he may have been an arrogant asshole just like Sir Galleth is. Again, we don't know enough for Connor to place him higher or lower on this list, so that's why I'm putting him at number 3. And again, he's the reason why we have Sly, so we cannot leave that part out of it. Number 2. Slytunkhamen I. Here we are, the true first ancestor of the Cooper lineage, the one who actually got the Cooper name started. Slytunkhamen definitely holds a huge value to why the Cooper ancestry started. On top of that, he's the creator of the Thaddius Raccoonus, plus he's a reason for the shadow power capabilities that Sly has in Sly 2 and Sly 3. He basically was the reason why all this even began with Sly. Why we have these video games, why we have these comics, why we have these fan videos, the fandom, every single thing. It's because Slytunkhamen started every single thing that we have. And plus, to this day, I still believe that Slytunkhamen and Clockwork were friends, and that something happened during that time period that caused them to become enemies afterward. Slytunkhamen definitely has a huge importance, and to this day I'm still annoyed that he got cut from Sly 4 because of time restraints, and because we're not getting Sly 5 anytime soon, or probably ever. we'll never get to really see this guy in action at all. Only thing we can hope for is comics, and is either comics or just like the actual creators coming out with something. But yeah. So yeah, Slytunkhamen, he still gets number 2 because of how much he did for the Cooper ancestry. And since he's the originator. And he could have easily got number 1 on this list, but there's someone else that got number 1 purely because of how ingrained he is in my memory. Not just for me, but for a lot of other fans as well. But before we do that, we're going to do a recap, and then we're going to talk about some honorable mentions. The honorable mentions, these are like names that you really don't see or hear too much. They were in the first Sly Cooper game, I would say that. Most of them were in the very first Sly Cooper game, so just be wary of that as I'm listing them off. Slytunkhamen II. Slytunkhamen I created the Devious Raccoonus, but Slytunkhamen II is the one who created the Cooper Vault. Salim Cooper, the strongest Cooper to date. Drake Cooper, the creator of the knockout dive technique. Dev Cooperina, the Thief Reflexes creator. Susan Cooper, water safety. And last but not least, Huckleberry Cooper. He took Slytunkhamen's ability of shadow power and basically allowed movement to happen with it. And we are down to number 1. And number 1 should not be a surprise to anybody. But number 1 is Tennessee Kid Cooper. I mean, there was no doubt Tennessee Kid was going to get the number 1 spot on this list. He is just way too popular. His personality meshes well with all the other Cooper Gang members and ancestors. His ride sleigh ability and walk on rope ability still remains one of the most effective Sly Cooper moves to this day, and my favorite Sly Cooper move to this day. His heist of all the gold off the train was one of the most legendary in Cooper history. His ability to have a crack shot while shooting at people while sliding or riding on ropes. There's so much to love about Tennessee Kid that, like, for me personally, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. When I'm just roaming around with Tennessee Kid, I'll just slide on the rails with him to pretend I'm like, you know, riding the range like Tyrone from the backyard again. It's just like, Tennessee Kid is so much fun to use, and he had by far the best chapter in Sly 4 easily, in terms of the story, in terms of the villain. Just everything was just perfect for Tennessee Kid, and you could feel the love put into that one specific chapter for Sly 4. And plus, out of all the ancestors, Tennessee definitely was the one that got the most attention from Carmelita when she was trying to make Sly jealous, which doesn't necessarily add to his placement at number 1 on this list, but I thought it was just a fun little fact to throw in there. And so basically, this is my reasoning for Tennessee Kid being number 1 and why he, to me, is the best Sly Cooper ancestor of all time. Just slightly better than Slytunkhamen, Connor Cooper, and Rioichi Cooper. And that, guys, was the top 10 best Sly Cooper ancestors. What did you guys think of this video? Did you guys like it? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? As always, let me know in the comment section down below, and also let me know if there's any more video topics that you guys want me to cover based on Sly Cooper or any other video game franchise that I know or I'm associated with. Just let me know. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos and showing support. This is your boy Sly Lancy, and I'll see you guys next time. Next Sly Cooper video we'll be covering will definitely be the worst Sly Cooper guards. See you guys then.